You saw the Drake video. You
What if
start
this is
watching
AI?
that video in private,
Wait,
bro.
didn't you send it to me?
Bro, no, don't. If you're Chinese, Hispanic, you are not considered a citizen. The White House is so pissed off that freaking Tucker Carlson went to Russia and interviewed Vladimir Putin.
In my opinion, I don't think a person can fix this by trying to take over what's already there.
Heat up the corn tortilla, heat up the little wiener, make a burrito.
Disgusting.
I'm going in, all in, everything on the line, everyone wants to shine. I'm going in, all in, I got my crew up behind, and we would die for the win.
Welcome to the All In Podcast. I am your host, Carlos Reyes. Today I have my good friend and business partner, Mr. Phil LeConte, joining the show. On my left here, I got Mr. Zady, the most interesting man in the industry. And to his right, my left, I got Mr. Sal Shakur, my business partner, and Adrian Born Closer Salgado. Today, we are going to discuss some pretty interesting topics. The Tucker Carlson-Vladimir Putin interview, Drake's leaked video, and Black History Month. We want to know how people truly feel about Black History Month, what its significance is or isn't, right? So with that being said, man, did you guys see that Tucker Carlson interview? I know you did. I know you did. I know Sal, you're working on it, and then I know you did too.
Yeah, I watched about the first 30 minutes of it, and then I passed out on your couch.
Okay.
I held my son and shaking him as I'm watching this because I knew how important it was for me to know what this man was saying.
You know, something very interesting, by the way. I don't know who the Speaker of the House lady, not the Speaker of the House, the Secretary of Press, right? The black lady with the hair.
Jean.
Nobody really likes her.
Pierre.
Yeah. She was asked. She said, "Hey, is it true what Tucker Carlson said?" And she's like, "Well, what do you say?" Right? And they're like, "Well, he said that you guys prevented him from, on multiple occasions, right, from Tucker Carlson interviewing Vladimir Putin. Somewhere close to between 5 and 10 times that you guys rejected that interview. Is that true?" Right? And then what was the other thing that he asked? Something about and how does it make you feel? How does the interview make you feel? And she's just like absolutely not, right? And they're like, "Well, absolutely not. I want it." I was like, neither of them. Like the White House is so pissed off that freaking Tucker Carlson went to Russia and interviewed Vladimir Putin. What do you guys think about that? Why are they pissed off?
Remember, before when he was with Fox, they tapped into his Signal account, saw that he was already trying to interview Vladimir Putin.
Ooh.
And they went, and I guess one of his friends messaged him in the CIA and said, "Hey, they tapped into your phone. They know that you've already been in talks with this interview. They're shutting it down." So they already started the progress of like, this is not happening from the get-go.
Are you guys seeing that, by the way?
Yeah.
There's a playing field that a lot of people don't know about, but it's there. Mm-hmm. It's there, and it's going to be there, and it always has been there. Now there's just more technology.
And we're all pawns in this playing field.
We live in a world. So America alone is we believe that in free speech, and the news outlets or the free press is a big part of it.
But do we have free
don't.
speech? Because my social media accounts have been suppressed since 2020.
Oh yeah, I mean
you know this for a fact.
Absolutely. But see, you're talking about social media. I'm talking about the grand scheme of things, like even CNN, Fox, and all these outlets. They're all controlled by something. So if you were to talk about they were censoring him or they were trying to suppress it before it happens, because they do believe that if they try to control it so much, because if it spins out of control, whatever facade they've built is going to taint it. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, in today's age, and I know this for a fact because I come from a third world country, dehumanization is the biggest ally to a country.
Did you know that, by the way, there is some dehumanization happening according to Vladimir Putin, there is some dehumanization, neo-Nazism happening in those areas that they're presently occupying. that they started treating people of Russian nationality as non-titular citizens. Can you imagine if in America, right, the government just flat out came out and said, if you're Chinese, you are not considered a citizen, you are considered a non-titular citizen. If you are Hispanic, I don't care if you're born here, you are considered a non-titular citizen. So you're not even a full citizen, you're like a partial citizen. Like you're a citizen, but you don't have some of the same rights.
So that already happens, though.
So, by the way, again, I can't confirm because this is what came out of Vladimir Putin's mouth.
I haven't even watched it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
well,
crazy.
that was news to me. That was news to me that all these things that started coming out, like he's like, hey, man, you know, I've been willing to negotiate. I've been willing to talk. But he's like, but I'm not going to do their job. They're the ones. This is what he said. Okay, this is what he said. He said that Zelensky, right? Zelensky had, I think, the prime minister of Great Britain in his ear, persuaded him to not sign a treaty with Russia, and that the prime minister was influenced by the White House.
Yes.
White House hits up Great Britain. Great Britain starts whispering into Zelensky's ear, hey, psst, 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 don't worry about it. We'll send you X amount of $1 billion. It'd be a good thing for everybody. Right? That they're saying that actually took place. And that's what Vladimir Putin said, that 18 months ago, this should have been over with. But, you know, and look what's happening now, though, by the way. What's happening now? Why do you think now it all makes sense? There's a cash call. What's a cash call, right? Zelensky's over here. I need more money, guys. I need more money. I need more money. You know why? Now it makes sense. I'm like, why is this dude? He's $17 billion in. Why does he keep asking for more money?
I mean, war is expensive.
Well, yes, because he feels that he has the right to.
Yeah.
Why does he feel he has the right to ask America for all this money? Why?
Because they put him in the situation. They probably thought this would last X amount of time. Russia put out.
You put me here, you bail me out.
I mean, America's known for having coups in other countries. The CIA helps another country have a coup, and then a new leader is installed, and that leader needs to follow and obey, or else their power gets taken away.
And why do you think that is?
We saw this in Haiti when the president got assassinated. My parents are from Haiti, so I have an idea of what's going on. They don't need somebody that wants to bring independence to the people. If you want to bring independence to the people, don't worry. We'll find somebody externally to come in there and clean you out.
Yeah, they get rid of them.
They continually do this. And if you realize what Vladimir said, he says they're using a playbook out of Hitler's manifesto. They're praising this. Mm-hmm. And if everybody has eyes that can see, they can go and purchase Hitler's manifesto and read it for themselves and then make their best judgment.
But you know where the instructions come from. They don't even come from the people in office.
No.
It's the party.
What does it come down to at the end? What does it come down
party.
to? The C word. Control.
Right.
Yes.
Control.
Yeah.
It comes down to control. Right? And you know, as sickening as that is, by the way, you have to ask yourself, it's like we live in America, so we want America to truly be prosperous and be the most powerful. We know that the world is an economy, so we understand that, hey, someone has to thrive, and we just want to be, you know, number one or number two like we've always been, right? And what Vladimir Putin was saying was, this is how America controls. This is how America controls, or America's influence on the world is through force and, you know,
intimidation.
Some dirty business.
A lot. I don't want to say the other stuff, but yes, this is how we control. So as American citizens, we got to ask ourselves, man, I know it's evil, but is it fruitful for the people that live in America? Because at the end of the day, somebody does have to win.
Yes.
Right. And so it's like, you know, we got kids, we all have kids that are going to grow up here. So it's like, well, we kind of want America to be the head honcho of the world.
To win, right.
But things are changing.
Well, there's an equation, and there's 4 words, right? United, we stand. Divided, we fall. Mm-hmm. When Russia got stripped away from SWIFT and all their payment processing, they basically just ripped out everything.
Who, America?
America stripped everything from Russia.
You're talking about the sanctions?
The sanctions, yeah. So when they embedded the sanctions, they said, all right, we got you.
Is it sanctions or sanctions?
Sanctions.
Sanctions? Man.
Russia became 4 times stronger.
Mexican.
Tucker went to their economy, and they're thriving. they're thriving. They became a stronger Russia because they realized that during this time they got stronger together, where we got weaker divided.
Oh, by the way, did you see that? Oh my God! So he says, he's like, America is they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah,
they're shooting themselves in the foot. He's like, we used to 34% of our economy was transacted through dollars, right? And then he goes, that has been replaced by the yuan.
Yep.
And then the other, what do they use? The
ruble?
Rubles, right?
Yeah.
Ruble? Yeah.
Ruble.
So America took away the dollar from them, and then they adapted.
Yeah.
They adapted.
They were ready for it. They were waiting for it.
They adapted. They
anticipated
pivoted,
it.
right? They adapted, and then now they're thriving again. So I guess at the end of the day, this is, by the way, we shot ourselves in the foot, right? This is the question, right? Why do you think? What do you think's happening in that area? Why is this happening? Why is this war really going on? And it's been going on for 2 years now. Why? From what
Putin said, I mean, he said that these lands are Russia's and he wants to take it back. And from his perspective, they made a bunch of deals 5 times with the UN, saying, okay, don't expand further out east.
Don't push. Yeah.
So obviously, if they're getting closer, he needs to do what he does now.
To protect
whether you
us,
believe him, whether you don't, whether all these little things we don't know, but yeah, actually, that did happen. He said, "Don't come closer." We did, and boom. Now where we're at.
Even more powerful. Remember when he talked about how he met with Bill Clinton and he said, "Hey, Bill, what would it look like if Russia joined NATO?" Bill said, "That's interesting.
It sounds good."
Right.
He's like, "Let me ask.
Let me ask."
Should
He
be
came back
good.
and said, No, that's not going to happen. It's the same as when you're playing a sport in high school and you have your rivalry team and you're mad at them for no reason. You have it's your best friend on the other side, but you're just mad at him. So this whole time we have to keep up this we hate Russia, we don't like Russia, and it has to continue because we need a common enemy.
Well, hold on though. Hold on. What about if America, who has its top competitor been in the world?
China.
Well, Russia, at what era?
Russia in the last 20 years, China.
After the Cold War.
Yeah, China.
Okay, yeah.
China, right? Economy and army, right? Okay, great. Maybe America, for the last 20, 30 years, has seen the threat of Russia. And when I say threat, I'm not talking about military. I'm talking about
dominance.
It's evolution, right? You get what I'm saying? It's growth to be a top 2, top 3, top 5 superpower economy. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's trying to gather itself back to when it was a state, right?
Almost making Russia the land of opportunity instead of the United States.
Well, if you think about it, based off that interview, that's what seems to be going on in Russia.
Yeah.
He's like, we respect this, we respect that, we love this, we love that. He sounded very, very united.
But you see why
we might be missing something.
You see why it's concerning to the White House for this interview to come out.
Yeah.
Because we had a common enemy. Even though the Cold War is done, we always know, hey, the United States and Russia are not on good terms. You don't have to have a scientific degree to understand that. Mm-hmm. Well, an interview like this, it humanizes the Russians again to the Americans. Mm-hmm. So to the rest of the world, and that's why I said that earlier, dehumanization is one of the strongest weapons to a country. Mm-hmm. So if the United States and other countries dehumanize third world countries all the time, and we sleep better at night knowing, oh yeah, they're living like less class citizens, so it doesn't really hurt as much. And that's what happened with Hitler. Hitler kind of painted the picture for the Jewish for the Jews and whoever is not German, is it's okay to kill them, right? Mm-hmm. Well, now an interview like this, it got even us talking about it, and that divides people. Even if it's 20% of the people that didn't align with Russia might be like, okay, well, Russia is not the oppressor here, but they're we're not going to call them a victim, but still they're not the oppressors because they sound like they have a good head on their shoulder and they're trying to do good as well.
It does.
Right? So it makes you question instead of just nodding to the government saying, yeah, let's go against Russia, and everybody nods.
What do you think this does to the election?
I think how it made us look bad, tying into that, is you got Trump on one end, right? Talking bad about Biden, saying all this stuff, riling up. Then you have Biden talking about Trump, and we're just going at it. Everybody on the left and right are going at it. And here you got Tucker Carlson giving Putin ammunition to basically shit on the United States. And he's like, I'm not going to talk about that even more. Ask them. So he took a class stance. He took a position that's honorable.
Yeah,
like we should all be like that.
He had a great
right? We
opportunity
shouldn't
to take the
shit
upper
on
hand.
the opponent. We should talk about our side and then let them talk. But our leaders don't even do that. So I think that made us look really bad. I was looking at that, man, and I'm like, damn, man, I wish our leader was classy like that. And then I question myself. I'm like, damn, hold on. Why am I saying that? I'm like, I'm not rooting for this guy. I just want our people to have that class, to have that like respect, to not cross that line. That's what I took from it.
I saw this. I heard this on the Joe Rogan podcast where they talked about if an alien invasion were to happen, and an alien came and was like, "Take me to your leader," people wouldn't know where to take them. That's here in the United States.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I'm sure if you go to Russia and they're like, "Hey, take me to your leader,"
Go straight to him. Yeah.
We keep using this word leader. Where that seat's missing. I don't see that there's a leader. I can't call him a manager. I can't call him. There's something happening that we can't see inside the system. It's like when somebody looks good, like a bodybuilder, but you were to cut open their stomach and it just oozes out poison and pain. And we notice that inside of our system, there's no American inside of there. There's somebody that injected themselves inside the system, and they have to pull out all the spark plugs. And the American people are too busy with high inflation trying to provide for their family, so they can't protect themselves.
We don't have time to even worry about
We're right down the
what's
street from the
going
border,
on.
right? We know what's happening at the border, right? And it's not Hispanics that are coming through.
No,
we all
it's
know
not,
this. It's
yeah.
military age young men from different parts of the world. And if you guys watch the interview with Tucker that he had with another guy that went down to Panama and talked to the people, and they were just hush hush, the ones that were coming from China, about why they were coming to the United States, and the fact that they're receiving the funding, the support, right? The guidance.
A credit card?
A credit card, $5,000 at the border to go to whatever
Like,
state
what's
you want.
going on, bro? Listen, hold on. This is a good one. Bro, when I hopped over here, bro, no one was giving me a ride or cash or a credit card or anything like that. No, bro.
You had to come through the
like,
sewer.
what's going on?
You
I
didn't
had
get
to come
to
to
sleep
the
at the-
sewer system the first time, a hole in the fence the second time. There was no bus waiting for me.
His mom and
It's getting
McDonald's.
luxurious
Like,
now.
what is going on?
You didn't get ticket to New York for Mayor Adams to give you
No,
a
bro.
credit card?
I got taken to Phoenix. I wanted to go to
Disneyland.
the concrete jungle where dreams are made of. I came to the desert.
See, for us in Arizona, we just have congressmen baiting other congressmen to hush hush, right? Just like with Kerry Lakes. That's what Putin. He just sees what's going on. He's just sitting back, just watching us deride ourselves, right? This is one of the biggest elections,
Right.
only because either side that wins.
We can't do another 4 years of this.
No,
There'll be. It would. I don't know what would happen.
Statistically, if you talk about the Strauss-House theory, that in 4 years, 2028 is when the big reset is going to happen because it happens every 80 years.
So maybe we would do another 4 years of this.
So, well, whatever that is, I don't know what's gonna. It doesn't mean it's gonna be military. Doesn't mean it's gonna be. It could be.
No,
the
I'm
AI.
talking about where we're headed. Not just military, economically, everything.
As a
right?
United States,
we
yes,
just-
for a fact. So
it's like we have to rebuild and reset and restart.
correct, and I urge you to watch that video. There's a video that shows you that it's in 80 years, and every 20 years, there's 20 years increments. I forgot what they call them, and we went through it. So the World War II is when it ended. Then we started that 20 years, and then you'll see the next 20 years, and the next 20 years, and we're 16 years in. 16 and 2008 is when it started. What did happen in 2008?
Obama.
Well, yeah, but then the crash happened.
Oh yeah.
Right. So and usually this is the most painful time. So that
Right at the end?
at the very end right now when it's imagine what happened with World War II. Then new arts came out, and then we had like new generations that they do things that weren't done before, and they're saying this is the last of it. But for me, I think that what's going to happen is something so drastic. Imagine a government like the United States. If people say, what president is going to come and fix this? In my opinion, I don't think a person can fix this by trying to take over what's already there. You have to
Wow, that's a good
kind
point.
of start from a clean canvas because even in our own company, we've created some rules and some regulations, even though that it doesn't sit well, but you just created it because it was already wrong, and then you just adapted with it, right? You create, Band-Aids and Band-Aids and Band-Aids. Well, imagine the history of the country. How many Band-Aids have we thrown? And how many of them doesn't sit well? In order for you to fix it, you have to work around those Band-Aids to make a better outcome. Well, you can't do that because there's hundreds of things. Border problems, we have racism, we have wars in many other countries. We're more separated than others between Democrats and Republicans. And now we're trying to find our way. How many battles are you going to fight? What front are you going to fight? Well, take all those lessons that we have, start from a clean canvas, implement the good fundamentals that the founding fathers started with, and with the new age and new era that we have, and you get to build on it.
But then whose way is it going to be? Like we had that with the Civil War,
Some
right?
tough decisions have to be made.
We
There is
kind of
some
made
common-
a reset. We got to have another Civil War. Basically, it's going to happen, and then
Well, that's what I'm saying.
and then
Like,
all of a
there's
sudden
something going to
there's-
happen in the next
There's
4
already
years.
rumbles of it.
yeah.
There's already rumbles of it.
It could be economy crisis. In economy crisis, that's a crisis.
It could be AI.
It could be AI. We could learn if we're intelligent enough to understand to learn from our mistakes. We can say, okay, now there is a lot of hurt. Let's all unite and find a way. Let's sit down and some decisions going to be hard, but you know what? It's going to be easy if you go back to the fundamentals. What's good and bad? The fundamentals of good and bad. Don't kill. Killing is bad.
But by the
Don't
way,
kill.
that's the next big challenge that Putin talked about is AI, and he's like, he's like, how are you going to handle where the biggest challenge is going to come at a global level in the near future? And they identified that AI was going to be a big challenge because there's no control.
Drake could be an AI, whatever.
There's so
video.
many things that we've had control over, right? We have no control of.
You're talking about the government has no
evolution of
control
AI.
I mean,
or
let's go
us.
over what just happened to Taylor Swift, right? A video of a fake AI video of her naked in a porno came out.
It looked real.
And yes, and there were girls all over the internet crying because of their favorite star, and this came out. They just came out with a law yesterday
Oh, that's sad.
that bans that makes it illegal for AI videos of somebody.
So there they are. They're starting to
Put new laws, regulations.
but
in
it takes
place.
someone like
there
Taylor
is no
Swift
regulation.
Yeah.
to be affected.
Well, I think that ties to what is the ideology. Like in a company, if there's no people, what is there? Your core values, right? The core values of a company. A country, a political party, they have core values. You have, right now, Democrats and Republicans. What are the core values of both parties? In my opinion, those things don't change. Ever since the Civil War, it's been the same thing. You got Republicans on the Union side. You have Democrats on the Confederate side. For some reason, I don't know how everybody has forgotten that. Like, you can't be like pro-slavery and then all of a sudden, you know what? No, it's okay. I don't think that way anymore. No, I think the party still has that same philosophy. It's just slavery isn't attached to a color now.
By the way, you guys do know that the KKK came out of the Democratic Party, right?
Well,
How do people not
Confederate?
know
Well,
this?
Confederate soldiers
Short-term memory.
created the KKK, and some of them were Democrats, but the first leader of the KKK was a Democrat. That's undeniable. No,
the
one can
South
deny that.
flipped. The South, they all flipped to Democrats. Do you not remember?
Well, during the war, there's Northern Democrats and there's Southern Democrats, but both of them wanted slavery. The Northern Democrats wanted every state to decide if slavery was going to be legal or not. The Southern ones were like, no, slavery is legal everywhere. The Union was the only side that was saying, no, we don't want slavery at all. But now, slavery is, now you could pay people and they're still slaves. Because, hold on, let me finish this thought. What's a slave, right? You have to obey. If you're a slave, you have to obey. What's another attribute? You have to work. You're forced to work.
Codependency.
Well, what happens if we stop working?
Codependency. That's
Can we support our family if we stop working?
No.
No. So
Technically work.
take definition wise, and the third thing is your property. So now if you align yourself with the political party, you're their property. So now you're someone's property. You're obeying. You wear a mask, get the jab, or lose your job. That's obeying. You have to obey.
I mean, I get your point, but I think you're taking that too far. It's almost like saying, 99.9%, and I think there's a statistic, 99.9% of people that die wear socks. Well, it doesn't mean they died because of the socks, right? Like, well, people have to.
I'm taking my socks off.
Back in the days, Jesus was a carpenter.
Yeah.
You know, like
Jesus didn't wear socks.
Well, we're not talking about Jesus socks at this point. We're talking about, people work to,
Jesus
to
didn't
earn a
wear
living.
underwear.
Doesn't mean we're a slave because we're earning a living, but I get you where you're trying to.
I'm talking about
turn
the
this to.
parties. I'm talking about the party's core values. Right, so that's what I'm saying. The Democrat Party. I don't want to demonize them. The people in the Democrat Party. Hold on.
Who was the first? No. Who was the first Democratic? Who was the first Democratic president to stand up against some of their old core values?
Well, it's a great question.
Lincoln. Lincoln didn't want slavery.
Right.
What happened to Lincoln?
Well, he became a Republican, and he
wait. What happened to Lincoln?
Was assassinated.
He was assassinated. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, same playbook, right? Think about it. Now you're going back that much time, and it's still happening today. You don't agree with what's going on here?
Right.
Well, then you're just
censorship
here.
Well, thank God. If we're going to finish this off, let's go back to the fact that Elon Musk has saved the day, right? To pay for a company that was overvalued to allow people a platform to speak freely without being subservient to the algorithm. Yeah. Now, Elon has opened up a door for the Pandora's box to be released where people can now think for themselves. Because if you go back to George Orwell's book, 1984, or Animal Farm, it talks about this utopia where there's the thought police, which they just created an AI where it can scan your brain and take the formats of your neurotransmitter system and put the picture of what you're thinking.
That's sick. Wow.
They can project your dreams now if you walk through a scanner. And some of these Black Mirror stuff, they show you how they can, when they put the goggles, Apple just came out with that headset now where you can see your whole world, you can block out everything.
Have you ever seen the movie Minority
Ready Player
Report?
One?
I haven't.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Have you ever seen Minority Report with Tom Cruise?
Yeah, that's all. They got the dreams and the
but it's all precursor.
Yeah,
right. It's like
charge people for what they're thinking.
Precogs,
precogs.
Right? They have
before they commit the crime. They already know
the crime is committed. It's already thought first, and they have access to that.
Bro, why do movies always give away the future?
Because there's not many thinkers, right? People laugh. It's like the movie we talked about. They cloned Tyrone.
Yeah,
I told everybody if Black people miss this movie,
which one?
They cloned Tyrone.
That's a good movie.
That was the one I showed you about with Jamie Foxx in it.
I'll give you just a quick. You should watch it because what it does.
Is this a new movie?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
It's been around for over a year now, isn't it?
The movie They Cloned Tyrone basically just tells you that there's a reason why fast food, KFC, Popeyes, fried chicken is placed in certain areas. And if you think about it, the spiciness and the flavoring is created in some lab. So imagine people in some suit with a helmet on, and they're putting these chemicals together. How can we make it addictive and spicy and tasteful and crunchy? And then you feed it to the pigs and let them taste it and say, addictive, but they don't even know what's behind it. What it does, it suppresses your mind. You can't even think. The food doesn't allow you to think for yourself, right? We advocate for clean water. We advocate for better food. Why? Because we believe in sovereignty, some sort of sovereignty, right? We're in this meat suit, but some sort of sovereignty in the world. But if they can suppress you with the food and the water, and They Clone Tyrone talks about church. It talks about how like in the church, when you do like the bread and the grape juice, it shows that inside of the grape juice, it just shows like underneath the church, there's a lab, and then they're putting chemicals inside the grape juice. And then it goes to a hair salon because they're targeting like obviously African Americans. Hair salon, I don't know if you've ever seen African American women where their hair is like very shiny and slick. There's a lot of grease. Remember, I grew up.
They got that Soul Glow.
That Soul Glow. Is it Sally's the beauty salon. Yeah. That gel that they put on there. It shows them in a lab putting stuff in the gel. I was just laughing because it wasn't even funny because it's true. Right, I grew up in Section 8 low income, and you eat the ramen noodles in the microwave and hot dogs in the microwave where it has like the warts and the bubbles on it, and
you gotta put a little cheese on that though,
and hot sauce too. Texas Pete.
Have you ever done it?
The cheese on a hot dog.
You put tahini on it.
Melt it. You
game
put it
over.
Here.
On a hot dog.
Hey, listen, guys. Some of the best guys. Some of the best poor meals. Okay. Here's one of them. Hot dog. Put a piece of yellow cheese over it, put it in the microwave, 30 seconds, let it melt right over, bring that bad boy out, put it in a piece of bread. Ooh, boy. Put a little ketchup in there, a little mustard in there. You got yourself a winner,
That's
boy.
like a jailhouse.
Where's the bacon?
Hold
on.
Before I was allergic,
there's no bacon. We can't. No, there's no bacon.
Street dogs. That's what they have. They have bacon wrapped around it.
I just said,
Mexican.
bro,
you don't get bacon on welfare.
Poor people, for the most part, we don't eat bacon.
Spam.
We can't
Put
afford
spam on
bacon,
there,
bro.
whatever.
We get what the government gives us. WIC. They don't give us bacon, bro.
They give you cheese.
They give you cheese.
milk,
They give you
yeah,
bread,
okay.
cheese, yeah.
cereal.
Exactly.
They
I
give you
get very,
bacon.
very passionate about that.
Yeah, they do. They give you bacon.
I remember
Here,
boxes.
one last one. Ready? Heat up the corn tortilla. Put a little mayo on the tortilla. Right?
It's disgusting.
Heat up the little wiener, in the microwave. Right? Let it bubble up a little bit.
Yeah,
Whatever.
bubble up. Yeah.
Make a burrito out of it.
Oh my God.
And that's another
delicious.
poor meal. It's delicious, right? Have you ever done that?
Back when I was unconscious, yeah. For sure.
No. So you resonate with some of the stuff I'm telling you about?
Absolutely. That's all we had. 7 kids.
Yo,
and
these
one
were
mom.
these were my meals. Like this is the kind of meals I made.
Back then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
bro.
now I've seen you make the modern version of what he said now, the wealthy version.
Bro, I don't
he
even
takes
care
a
what I
pancake and he makes it, instead of the tortilla, it's a pancake. And you put eggs and you put bacon and you put sausage and then you roll it up and you eat it like a burrito. I've seen you do that.
That's not bad living.
That's the rich meal.
That's not bad living.
It's not bad.
Hold on. No, he's trying to insult me. He's
I'm
trying
not
to,
insult- I've
no,
seen you do
he's
that.
trying to, no. It's okay.
It's not an insult.
You know what?
Right
if
or
you,
wrong.
If you weren't so cute,
Have you never eaten that? Have you
if
never
weren't
eaten
so
what I
cute,
just
would
said?
be insulted.
Well, you know.
What's up with this drake stuff? I
Speaking of wieners,
speaking of
Yeah.
You can't
So,
call that a
okay.
wiener, though. I mean,
By the way, because Sal, you said it earlier. This is what I love about this podcast. Just full transparency. Sal said, "Wait a minute, bro. You can't talk about Putin on one side and then Drake leaking his meat on the other side." I said, "No, wait a minute. I don't think you understand what's happening here.
There's
There
levels
could
to
be a
this shit.
correlation, and this is just me being a conspiracy theorist, right? If you take a look at the history of significant events
yes.
that could have an impact or an influence or change or shift people's mindsets, right?
Right.
There's always something that happens right before or during,
the distraction.
the distraction.
right? Something
Really
that
false-
that
false
just like explodes across the country. Right?
Yes.
And this is a lot of people are, everybody's like, "Oh my God, girl." I've been reading some of the comments. "Oh my God, girl, did you see it?" This bigger black lady was like, "Oh boy, that's the best I've ever seen." Like she was like, I would like the comments were crazy. Oh my God. Did I send you some of the comments?
Do you think that people are so addicted to the algorithm that when they hear something like that, they
Well, hold on. Ready? The video, just in case anybody wonders what's going on, I think Drake is in a yacht,
I thought it was a PJ.
a private jet. Don't show the video on camera. No, I'm not going to show the video, dude. I'm telling you. The angle, right? I'm not going to show the video. Jesus, dude. So I don't know if he's in a yacht or a private jet. I think it's a yacht. The way that he positioned his phone, right?
Was it on the
just
stand?
like the perfect angle, right? And it's just it makes it look legit, right? Makes it look like he's, it's about 8, maybe 9, right? Don't ask me how I know these things, okay?
We're not.
Someone sent me the video. And
With like
watched it?
measurements next to it.
You watched
They sent me
it?
the
He did a
video.
scale?
Well, hold on.
Scale? Like, this is the video and this is the scale.
A trusted source sent me the video, and I didn't know, like, it was blurry because, the beginning of it is just blurry. You don't know what's going on. I hit the play, and then just this dude just going hard, right? He's just like, dot, 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 dot,
Thank
dot,
God.
dot, dot, dot.
Like
Playing
you're trying to
video
fly a
games?
helicopter.
Yeah.
talking about.
Like you're trying to fly a
I'm
helicopter.
like, what the heck? I'm like, who is this, right? Like, who
Is it really him?
It's Drake.
How do you know that?
It's Drake. Bro, I zoomed in.
Well, he's already taken accountability.
Bro, I had
and
a-
he's admitted that it was.
Bro, hold on.
Where did he do
Hold on.
that?
I zoomed in past the situation that was going on into the face, and I'm like, damn, that's Drake. And I'm like, why would he leak a video 2 days before the Tucker Carlson interview? Why
So let's
would
go
Drake
back.
leak a video?
There
right?
was an incident, not too
and he
long
leaked
ago.
it. That wasn't like there was no girl that leaked. He leaked the video because on his story the next day he said, I wasn't
Hiding.
I wasn't hiding my meat. I wasn't hiding the world. I wasn't hiding my meat from the world. I was hiding the world from my meat. And then he put hyphen Poppy.
But what if that's a joke too? Okay, I get it.
Bro,
I get the conspiracy. theory.
Really?
No,
A joke? He's
by
just
the way,
gonna have his thing
if
out
your
there.
theory is correct,
He's
and
gonna
that
have
just
his
tells me
thing out
something
there?
that the world will not like. The world is still going to see the Tucker Carlson interview, but it's
Not
going to
this-
minimize.
not-
No, it's going to
yeah,
minimize.
it's
Like,
gonna
it's going to
reduce.
lower the impact.
Yep.
It's the attention span of a goldfish. That's what we are in today's society, right? It's there. It recently just happened with the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard thing. Remember, there was a whole
Where
court
she
trial.
took a dump on his bed.
Yeah, there was a whole court trial, but during that, there was also something else that was going on, like with the government. I think it might have been Epstein files, something coming out, something like that. But there was something completely going on that it was like, this was the trending topic on
It's
Twitter.
happening right now. He doesn't even know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
He knows the dump on the bed.
Yeah.
The turd from
No,
Heard
he saw the
on
Drake. He
bed.
saw the Drake video.
No, but
He saw it.
I know the distraction, but
He
I
saw
don't
it.
remember what the
He saw it.
distraction was from.
How many times you see the Drake video, bro? Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. How many times?
I
you see
just
the
showed
Drake?
Sal right now, and that was the
no.
third time
Actually,
I've
he
seen it.
played
You seen
and
it
he
three-
stopped,
you-
so I
so
don't
you've
know what-
seen it 2 times in private. See, that's
Not
when
in
it starts
private.
to get a little
I
sketch.
don't know. Something was
How
blurry
many
playing. I
times
don't
have
even
you
know if
seen
it's
it?
Like
what
you
if
start
this is
watching that
AI?
video in private,
Wait,
bro.
didn't you send it to me?
Bro, no, don't.
What
no,
if this
no,
is
no.
AI? Wow, it turns out that he sent
Yeah,
it.
no, it wasn't me.
But hold on. What if this is which is it could
Have you
be
seen
very
the video?
well. He just played it and it was brilliant. He turned it off. So I didn't really. see
Zady,
it.
what did I tell you? Zady, what did I tell you yesterday when we were playing Fortnite?
You said, I got a good video for you, bro.
That's
I'm
not
like,
what
I don't want
said.
any
That's
of
not
that.
what I said. That's not what I said.
Okay.
What did I say about the lollipop?
You said you said the video makes you want to suck a lollipop.
Jesus Christ! Why would you say that?
You can't say that.
Wait,
Right or wrong? Am I wrong?
Stop lying.
Call me
Stop. Bro, you're coming after me. You're coming after me.
Why am I lying?
All
You
right,
didn't say
we're gonna
that.
move
Wait a
on.
minute.
Go ahead, Sal.
didn't
Bro,
say
He does
bro,
eat
you're
lollipops when he's playing for
bro,
it.
you're
my God,
ridiculous.
all I hear is. I'm like, bro, can you please stop? I'm trying to focus. He's like,
We lost every game. Sal, forget him. I didn't say, oh man, after watching the Drake video, it just makes me want to eat a lollipop. I did not say that. Sal, go ahead. This really happened, by the way.
I'm glad. So we could talk about it. So you got okay. Maybe it
You
is
never
Drake,
leaked the
okay.
video like that?
Why would I leak something like that?
You don't send.
I-
You don't send.
Thankfully, I haven't.
You guys have never leaked
The Arabic
You don't
poppy?
leak.
Like thank God my
I sent
son
one to
will
my
never
wife
look.
the other day.
One day, my son when he's older, he's digging through.
Bro, in Scottsdale, back when you and I were hitting the streets,
I
you were the
partied.
champagne poppy before Drake
heard-
was the champagne.
I heard
For
stories.
sure.
I heard
You were the
stories.
champagne
I
poppy
wasn't recording
before Drake
myself.
was the champagne.
You know, there is no evidence. Like if once you record, once it's on the internet,
Bro,
it's on the
you
internet
were
forever.
wild.
give us a Sal story. Give us a
Thank
crazy
God
Sal
AI
story.
wasn't out when
That's
I
probably
was.
you blew your shoulder out.
Man, yeah, it's
No, not like that. Oh, the champagne,
bottles, bro.
Oh,
Yeah.
champagne is-
you are
champagne
sick.
I was
poppy.
popping bottles.
Wow.
So
Anyway, that
how
was a
much,
long
how much
time
power
ago.
do you think Drake has to have this much influence? How much
Let's
power
talk
do you think
about
he has?
let's talk about the scale, right? The tier system, right?
Kim Kardashian, the
Yep.
top.
No. Well,
Beyonce?
she would be. She's still a soldier.
Well,
Well,
let's look at it. Do you consider those the top or the bottom? Because
Here,
they are.
it doesn't matter. Listen,
the people that are attracted to
here,
them are
Sal.
the lower
Well,
level
I don't.
individuals.
Sal,
that
here,
are just,
here,
more eyeballs.
here. Ready? The Rock, Kim, yes. The Rock when the Hawaii thing and the Biden thing and the endorsement.
Yeah.
The Rock. Yeah, I know. I grew up, bro. I loved.
He's kissed
he was
a lot
one
of
my
men on
heroes.
film, too. A
He
lot of men.
turned
He's
me.
kissed
The
a lot on
Rock
film.
turned me off so bad.
Twice.
when he endorsed Biden, bro.
Twice. Now second time too.
He just endorsed him again.
No. So, the Rock crossed the line with me twice, and that's why I used to be a huge fan.
You were a huge fan of the
Huge
Rock.
fan.
too.
No more.
I'm a Stone
Because
Colder.
he's drank the Kool-Aid, or he's making people drink the Kool-Aid so he can get paid.
After him and Kevin Hart kissed, he lost me.
But that's what I'm saying,
they,
right?
They smooched together.
Yeah,
they got paid a lot
guys,
of money to do it.
They're all on the same level. They're all these entertainers and rappers, right? They're all on the same level. There's like you said, you were talking about slavery.
Right, but is it
slave to
level?
what? Slave to the money or slave to the outcome?
Well, I'm saying
No. They listen. They have control of their lives, but they don't have control of their lives.
sure.
if
I'm
that
thinking.
makes
I'm
any
thinking
sense.
it's
So
demographic, not level.
Right.
So what demographic does Drake appeal to, right?
You already
Those
know.
people need to be distracted.
Yes.
So if anything he does, those people aren't going to watch the interview. So
Correct.
it doesn't matter top, bottom, whatever. His fans are completely oblivious to
I think we
that.
need to
What
take
about
a step.
the- what about the Taylor
take it a
Swift
step
fans?
further?
The Taylor
Real
Swift
quick.
fans are being distracted too, right? Because they're not going to get hit by the Drake thing.
Yeah.
But if you put a Taylor Swift, that's a whole
Damn.
different demographic.
So there's a lot of
By the way,
distractions.
Biden
That's
did
what I
his
was going to
interview
say. You have to
yesterday, too.
look at it from two different
Oh.
lenses. The first lens is that there is the top and the bottom. You guys are mixing the top and bottom as one tier. There is the one that in the front, and there's the ones that are in behind the scenes. And there is also top and bottom in both fronts. And you have in the fronts, you have each demographic that have their own folks, and each one of them. It's almost like
It's a very well-oiled machine.
It's like
well, it is
Yeah.
because everybody has to have a common enemy.
Is
right?
that why they
Yes.
call it the Matrix?
Life is a matrix. If think about it, even have.
Right?
Well, I mean, if it's not simulation, let's say that we're not in the matrix, like we're living life, the flesh and
get it.
this life. In our lives are pretty complex. Like, think about your life. If you have to think about, don't even go back. How old are you?
39.
39. Don't even go back 39 years back.
You sure about
Go
that?
back 5 years. How many connections have you made? How much complexity? How many people enter your life, left your life? How many of them are? How many rivals do you have? And how many people that root for you? And that's one
Rivals.
person. Imagine millions of people interact with each other. There has to be something that we can identify with. And that's why at the end of the day, we always need to have that one common enemy.
Well, it goes back to the entertainment, right?
Well, it
the
could-
one
it could
common
start
enemy
at
is
religion.
entertainment. Everybody, sports, movies, music.
Well, yeah,
art.
but does it start like it starts religion,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe it goes countries, then it goes race, and then it goes between
Sexual orientation.
Sports is sports and
then within the politics
sex
segregation,
preference.
then sex preference, then so we always have, like, by nature we even evolve. And I know this might get crazy, and I don't want this podcast to go that way, but even on a cellular level, our bodies, even if the technology achieved its 100% optimum capacity or optimization, there's with medical, in the medical field, there's still going to be no viruses that come out because they get stronger as we get stronger, and then medical gets more advanced and the viruses get more advanced. That's the nature of the law. There is always the yin and yang, right? The balance that keeps everything going. So no matter how much we try to bring world peace, we might achieve it for a short period of time until the universe applies its rules and it balances it again by finding the opposition force.
Maybe it's always trying to create balance, but it never actually.
And it's always going to
like
be
a
like
pendulum.
that
Oh, well,
forever.
Actually, this is something that a physical scientist? What is it? A scientist told me.
Metaphysicist?
A physicist told me. He was like, "How do you create balance? If you were to sit on a bike, right, a bicycle, without pedaling, and you put both your feet on the pedals, how would you create balance?
Motion. Go forward.
Either one way or
back.
the other, to just kind of stand there." So the actual term balance doesn't mean even like that.
So it's about offsetting.
emotion.
It's offset. It's constantly offset.
Offset.
Yeah.
How do we create balance even in our lives as entrepreneurs now?
There
There is no balance.
There is. I was going to say.
It's all- you
what is
offset.
that balance? Like, what do you
Well,
replace
you
that
offset,
word
but
with?
you
I'm learning how to
build
offset.
more endurance. You build thicker skin as well. As you offset, you acquire these new skill sets.
Yeah.
So you can move even
But
further.
I didn't understand, by the way, because I used to constantly crash as an entrepreneur because I wouldn't even know I would get so consumed, right? So consumed with what we're doing, so obsessed, and that still happens. Your sex drive goes away. You almost become. It's almost like you're running off energy, like this adrenaline, energy, but you have no emotion. There's no emotion.
No.
It's
There's
the
no
fight or
emotion.
flight. Yeah.
By the way, that's not a good or bad thing. Now, when it is a bad thing is when you're home and you can't give your family the love that they deserve,
Right.
Because you're just so obsessed and you're running on adrenaline.
and you don't even know why.
You're like, I'm on fire.
Yeah.
I'm on fire over here. And then you go home and you're like, I'm on fire. I can't even think about this right now. I love you, but I can't even be present. I can't give you what you need, right? So as you begin to grow and mature, you understand that that's not healthy, and you can't really balance, but you begin to offset. You're like, okay, I just went nuts here for a month. I'm going to spend at least a few days to a week here. Look what happened for me. I don't know if you understood what just happened, right? We went hard January. We went hard. We've been going hard
since August.
We've been going hard, right? So as soon as I come back from Utah from our boot camp up there, boom, I take the family up north for a few days, right? And that was my way of offsetting. I used to never do that.
Yeah.
I used to be the kind of guy that I'm back in here on Monday, and I'm just like, I'm just on
in the
fumes.
hypnotic rhythm.
There's no recharge.
Oh, the hypnotic.
There's no recharge, right? When you offset as an entrepreneur, you recharge. And then what happened when I told you on Thursday, right? Thursday I came back in.
Fired up.
I was like, I'm on fire.
That's the most powerful thing I took from both of you guys is that me and Garrett didn't understand that. We went to Sedona with you, and we're like, hold on, it's a work day. We're stepping away from the business. Oh, my God. But then we would come back, and we would be just vibrating. And then we would, it's like almost like a slingshot. We would pull back, and then we would come back and take that energy we took
bro.
From just releasing, right? Being grounded, breathing, not really talking so much about work, but talking about the pain that we're overcoming, talking about what we're into, and just kind of sharing knowledge. You'd come back into work just like, man, I feel great. I feel juiced up because of that one day. But sometimes in your mind, you think if you take a day, you get behind. But you take a day, you actually move forward.
Oh, bro. The magnitude, right? This is why, by the way, I'm not trying to disrespect you here, but I need you back. I need you in tip-top shape. Like, I need you in alignment, like mind, body, spirit.
Yeah.
Okay? And I like your mustache. Keep the mustache. But, yeah, mind, body, spirit. I'll tell you why. Because as an organization, if we continue to operate at a very high frequency, we're going to continue to explode and thrive collectively. It can't just be me, or it can't just be Sal, or it can't be just me and Sal, right? Or me and Sal and Adrian. We have to all carry that same magnitude together. Because if you're not carrying it, you're actually pulling down. You're not letting us. Yes or no, right?
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important for us to be on the same page. Because again, bro, when you come back fired up, what you would have accomplished in 3 days, you move the needle so much. And more importantly, I'll tell you what really happens, bro. Visualization and manifestation, right? Like intentionality. Here, watch this. I'm speaking to a guy on Thursday, this guy that came and met with us today, a guy named Tyler, right? He's in the private equity space kind of, and he's done a lot of that. I'm speaking to this dude on Thursday, and I'm like, yeah, brother, I think it's time for me to, or not for us to start, getting as much knowledge as we can about syndication, funds and stuff like that, right? And I go, we already have the vehicles that will drive this fund and make it a profitable, fruitful fund, right? We already have it. And then this was less than a week ago. And then I go and meet up at this place, right? This potential multi-billion-dollar company that's coming up in the game, right? In Scottsdale. I won't mention their name because we're still working on some things. But then the lady there, she's been in the syndication game for 22 years, and we're talking a little syndication, and I told her my plans. I'm like, and bro, she was like, I said, hey, my low return, low return, low risk, long-term vehicle is this. My mid-term, mid-risk, mid-return vehicle is this. And then I said, this is my high return, high risk, short-term vehicle. And she's like, oh my God. She's like, that's a winner. She's like, you know what? She said, call me. She's like, I'll help you. And then I said, okay, so you're going to teach me the syndication game, right? She's like, absolutely. So this older Latina Hispanic lady is ready to just teach me the entire game of syndication. Right. And I was just thinking about it less than a week ago. And that's that.
No, you've actually been thinking about this for a while.
Yeah,
you've been talking about it for a while, but it's like anything that what I've witnessed, right? And what I witnessed from you as well, too, is like you guys will think about things, think about them. But then when you guys actually put it into focus, it happens a lot faster, right? So it's like you made the decision to like, okay, now's the time to really get into this. And then boom, boom, boom. It's just the cards aligned, right? Yeah. And then now you're in a position to where, this could happen potentially this year.
Yeah.
But what you do that's beautiful is you take the unmanifest, the thoughts, the perceptions, and you bring it to the manifest. That, and we go back to what you said a second ago to Zady, is when everybody's on one accord. Because in order to bring something to life, like all this is a dream, right? In order for this building to be here, for us to be here, everybody here must believe that there's a business here and believe that the business is moving forward and believe that the business is moving forward in a positive way. And to believe, like down here, These guys, we're starting to get them to beat because we're moving in cadence, right? When somebody's late, we do push-ups, right? We're accountable for each other. We help each other. We feed each other. And when they start to get in that rhythm, we had a kid start yesterday. We were beating so hard, he didn't show up today.
Well, he's not the right guy.
I texted him. I
He
said,
can
what
go
happened?
back. Hey,
he said
can
the
go
energy
back.
is too high.
Hey,
Too high.
Well, guess what? We've done that we've done that on a different level too, right? Walking the righteous path. When we made the decision to walk in alignment, those individuals that didn't want to make that commitment and didn't want to obey, they weeded themselves out. Hey,
Yes.
this is too much for me. I need to go do my own thing.
Yes.
Right? And it wasn't because of financial thing. It was just because this is who we are and this is who we're not. And when people they wanted to try to live both sides of the fence, it was easily spotted, and then it would show in their work as well too. So then they would get under the microscope, like, you know what? I can't take this no more. I'm gone.
So your boy is an Athenian, not a Spartan. Remember that. He's an Athenian,
yes.
not a Spartan. You remember that part of the movie?
I'm trying to remember.
The Athenian.
No, I'm trying to remember.
The
Oh yeah,
Athenian?
you.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
remember.
The
Okay, yeah.
Athenians
I'm a
brought
potter.
the Athenians brought 1,000 plus soldiers. The Spartans brought 300, right? But the Athenians didn't really bring soldiers.
They just brought people.
The Spartans had more soldiers than the Athenians did, even though they had a quarter of the numbers.
I don't think you guys even understand how powerful of an organization this is. Someone that I worked for 5 different corporate companies, so I've seen the corporatocracy in different ways. There's no foundation, God, family, hustle. Right. So when people come in here and they can smell that, it's a smaller business, but the magnitude of change is
The
transmuted,
potential.
right? I can feel it when you go upstairs. We went to our world, our installer, and when we walked and saw each other, it was a small team at the time. We hugged. Came together. And he was like, man, you guys must be close. You guys hug. And I just thought that was crazy. I was like, that's what we always do. It's just something that we do naturally, right? We connect. We're connectors. We're conductors. And he said, no, I don't really see teams that do that often. And going into corporate, you're in the break room, gossip, right? You don't talk about core values. You don't talk about where the mission's going. You just, hey, did you see what so-and-so's doing? Did you hear about so-and-so? Because they can't talk about what they're going through. It's not a place to be vulnerable. It's a place for judgment, attack, but it's also built for you to just focus here. We don't want you to think outside of this. And then when you do think, you think about other people. But when you come into this building, they can tell that there's a different synergy. And it's built that way. That's why we all are in alignment. And when we bring people in, I let them know this is a sacred business. And when you come in here, you must put your sword into the rock and be prepared to be sharpened. And to be sharpened is not always pretty. I'm going to smile. I'm going to be happy. But when it's time to get to work, it is time to get to work. That's why we said we're going to war. We're going to war for our families. We're going to war for the business. We're going to war for each other. And it's not always pretty. I want your helmets to come back with battle wounds, right? The person who has the helmet with the scratches, that's the one you're afraid of. Yeah. So if anybody has a clean helmet, go and fix it. Get into the field, sharpen your sword, build your confidence, and then transmute that to the group. And that's what we focus on.
Brother, one of my most proud moments about our organization a year ago, we had 2 people hired, and the person that got hired that morning, they came in, they went to lunch, and the second person came back. The first person didn't come back after lunch. Do you remember? Yeah. And I actually called you, and I said, that is the one thing that I'm proud about of our organization now. We know people that come in, they know who we are and they know who we're not without us telling them.
He's like, man, this is a little too spooky for me,
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's a cult.
But as you know, right? As you know, if the energy is a certain vibration here, and you're coming in here as a low vibrating human being,
you can feel
it's almost going to make you sick.
Yeah.
It's almost going to make you, like the first time I took my man, Mr. Hinge, Spencer, up to Sedona, right?
Oh,
I had to pull over right when we were getting into Sedona. I had to pull over because he had to puke. Because he already felt. So he was at that time, right? Because he's grown a lot since. At that time, he was in he was kind of in a lower state at that moment. He was going through some things. As we're pulling into Sedona, he's like, I'm feeling car sick. Man, I've known this dude since 2005.
Taking basketball trips with
bro.
them.
Like he's never felt car sick before. And he had to say, please pull the car over. I need to puke.
Yeah.
He's in the back seat. We pull over and he's just like, ugh. We're like, bro, what's going on? Did you drink last night? He's like, no, bro, something just kind of hit me and it just made me feel just cozy, like weird, right? And blah. So again, if you come into this building and you're not open-minded, open-heart, right? Or you're not willing to operate at that frequency, then you're not going to be here too long.
You won't. Yeah,
I don't want you here. I don't want that dude here.
The power doesn't want you here, right? It's gonna weed you out.
Flush you out.
It's gonna fish you out very fast. I told our recruiters, I told Garrett, I said for every 10 people, we'll keep 3, right? The power of the square root, and that's how it worked out, right? Out of everybody that came in, we kept seeing people come in. They were trying, right? This whole try. You can see the people who weren't trying; they were just doing. I said, guys, don't come in here and say you try. Just do, right? If you try, you'll try your way out.
Well, here, let me, and I'm not going to put Zady, and we're not going to get into specifics, but I want a little piece of you right now, right? Remember that conversation we were having in Utah?
Revenge.
A little piece came at him twice.
This is the last one.
Remember that conversation we were having in Utah? Where we told him, you're like, hey, we said, hey, brother, why are you looking? Why are you worried about people that we no longer associate ourselves? I'm not saying he's worried, but the fact that you still follow, associate, or interact with, like if you comment on somebody's post, that technically is an interaction. It's considered
That's an
interaction.
exchange in energy.
It's considered engagement. It's considered engagement.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I said, brother, we collectively need to move on all together and look at the path ahead of us, not who we've already left behind or who's no longer on the boat. You know what I mean?
There's no
we need to
rearview
focus
mirrors.
like every moment, right? Every second, every ounce of energy needs to go on the mission, not a distraction or something that is from the past. You get what I'm saying? So at that time, he was fighting me. He's like, "Oh, bro, I can't be nice to people." I was like, "Brother, wouldn't you rather use that time to call your son, to FaceTime your son and be like, hey, Von Jordan, how you doing, baby?" Like, I would rather use every second of the day, right, instead of putting it into something that's not productive or fruitful, into something else.
Let me ask you something. How much time did you spend keeping tabs on my social media interactions with other people?
I don't even remember how it actually even happened, honestly.
Well, I mean, you know about it, so you spent time on it.
I think it might have. There's a lot of things that get sent to me. There's things that get sent to me, and
gossip 95%, people that gossip.
Nope, 95% of them. No, actually, there's people out there that actually protect. They're very protective.
Oh, I see.
About what's happening here.
So they look in the shit.
They're just very protective.
They're just getting their hands dirty with shit.
Right, they're very protective.
You're very protective as well too for this organization.
Yeah, I'm protective. If somebody tries to attack,
the beauty about it is,
but I'm not gossip. I don't gossip.
No, but you're invested into this organization. There's also people out there that know our standards and know who we are, that are not a part of this organization, that in reality probably wish they could be, but they have their own thing going. So they send things over to Carlos as like, hey, somebody in your organization is over here.
So that's bad energy right there.
It's protection, because they're doing it with the intent to like,
It's like the CIA.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, that's kissing ass.
No,
that's kissing ass. That's what
bro.
It's like spreading your cheeks.
Are you
and licking
growing
your
or are you
asshole.
not?
That's
Are you
what
growing?
Oh my God. Some people are into that, I guess.
Yo, hold on. Are you
Shit.
growing or are you not?
Because
if you're
my
still
height
doing,
isn't growing, but personally,
if you're still
I'm
doing
growing.
the same things and talking to the same people, and they haven't grown, but you're still associating yourself with those people, then maybe you haven't grown as much as you think.
How's it association though? Phil, let's bring Phil on this because he has a
I think we should
good
talk about Black
perspective on
History
that.
Month.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay. So all I'm saying is, right, again,
Good point.
Again, we are at a level right now collectively as an organization where everybody has to paddle.
True.
Everybody has to paddle. I can't have you look at, oh man, what's going on? Was that a jumping fish? No, I need you paddling.
Was that a Drake video?
I need you paddling.
I'm not looking at that.
You want to?
No,
I think there's a description I created when it comes to the boat rowing. And I was talking to Garrett one day, and I said, "Man, a business is the vessel, is the ship, just as your body is the vessel, and then the captain, the one rowing, just like you consciously, right? You are your body's the vessel, and inside of your body is the captain, the one steering the vessel. Well, while you guys are up top looking for big waves coming, looking at what storms are ahead, everybody's paddling at the bottom. Everybody has to be on their P's and Q's, right? You have to have your crewmates, one that's making sure that they're fed, one making sure that people are rowing, people are resting, people are, they go to the captain, hey captain, are we almost to our destination? Keep rowing, we got to go harder because we have a storm ahead, right? And then everybody prepares for the storm so that when you have impact, we're ready to weather that storm. Now what happens is when someone takes a break on the paddle or they're paddling backwards, like you do on a canoe, You go one way, then you go the other. You just spin around the circle. That's why you guys have business boot camp, because most businesses, 99% of them, are going in a circle. And they're like, why?
For years.
They're holding onto the doorknob to freedom, and they don't know how to open it. So you guys walk them and say, hey, give me your hand. Hold the door. Twist it. Walk out of the business. Find somebody that's at least 80% as good as you to come in there, so now you can buy back your time, right? And you guys just make it simple. You guys give the fundamentals. And I think that when people come to the organization and they get given a paddle, right, and they learn how to row, there is going to be distractions, because guess what? Your past, which you embarked from on that island that's far away, you're going to come back and say, hey, I know you left, but you guys look kind of healthy on that boat. What are you guys doing? And what happens is, as good spirit people, we want to share and give fruits. But what happens is they just want to take. They want to take. Oh, that's what you did? Okay, well, can you help me out since you're doing good? Can you come back and row back to the island? We can't get the coconut out of the tree. I know that you guys are on to bigger and better things. So what has to happen, which sucks for all of us, we've all done it, is you got to
Disconnect.
Cut
the umbilical cord?
You got to cut it. You got to cut it.
That's what I said the same thing. I said, cut the umbilical cord. He just told you the same thing.
And you know what? Let them evolve. They might evolve and catch up, and they might even surpass.
I use that word.
Let them evolve in their own time.
Let them evolve.
No.
Yes.
No, he said it. And you were like, oh, that's a great analogy.
So his story.
Black History Month.
Wait, before we go there, hold on. Yesterday, Biden's investigation came to a close, and he was actually talking to reporters. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
That was on the same day as the Tucker Carlson interview.
He confused Egypt for Mexico.
Right.
Did you see that?
He's like, I'm not losing my mind.
Did you see that he said he had a conversation with the French prime minister that died in '96 when he was elected president?
He did, but he did handle himself really well with that barrage of questioning, I think.
He's like,
he did.
Oh,
He did.
bro,
I don't like the
sad,
dude, but
bro.
I don't.
No,
Our
that's
standard
sad.
is so low
Bro,
now.
that's what I was gonna say. That's so sad.
He spoke.
He's like,
Did he
he
speak?
did
He
answer
spoke.
every question. Like, he said something. Like, is that our standard,
he
bro?
jabbed back. You know what I mean? He jabbed back.
like,
Wasn't
big
it
old
just
You got
Sparks
one guy. You got a guy. You got a president or a leader of another country.
Yeah.
That is so studied. And
Yes,
such
true,
an
very true.
intellectual
And prepared.
and then you got a vegetable,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, he did move. Like,
he
like that's
handled
the
the
standard,
conversation
bro.
well. He handled. Come on.
That's the standard
He
for a
exited the
leader.
right. He exited
He handled
moved.
the conversation well.
We got to stop calling him leader. Like it's.
Well, he is the leader of the free world, right?
Technically speaking. Okay,
Yeah.
now we're ready for
Theoretically.
next topic.
So anyway, last subject, because I know it's getting a little long here. We just want to thank everybody for watching and listening.
Shout out Drake.
Yeah, Black History Month. I'm gonna ask the only black man on this show right now how
I'm
he
African
feels-
American too.
how he feels about Black History Month, and then I think we can all give our feedback if you feel comfortable. I think actually we're all minorities, so we all technically can. Go ahead.
Well, one thing I'll say is I'm from Atlanta. Atlanta, there's the Civil Rights Museum.
Is that where the players play in the
They ride on things like
every day? Okay,
See,
that is-
what's funny in Atlanta is that you go to the Civil Rights Museum and you don't see any black people in there. It's actually kind of interesting.
Bro, I've been to Atlanta.
And it
Bro.
is a lot of culture, a lot dense.
Bro.
Little baby, Ghana,
Bro.
right? Being illiterate, talking slang is like a new thing, and
Yo, for real.
It is.
Why is there so many black people in Atlanta?
well, you got to realize Atlanta is the heart of the South. It is the New York of the South. You have Alabama, Tennessee,
Okay.
South
Okay.
Carolina, North Florida. So everybody goes to Atlanta as their New York of the South.
Or LA. That's the LA of
Or LA. But if you're in Alabama and you want to go shop and you're the big, like you have your little small town business, you want to go shop and ball out, you go to
you go in
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Right? You just
Hour
drive
and a
2
half.
hours.
Oh, a bunch of
2
guys do
hours.
that, man.
Yep, yep.
See, but one thing, there is the Civil Rights Museum. And for the first time ever, I
went to the Civil Rights Museum.
Did you really?
Yep. I
powerful.
visited so one of my heroes,
Dr. King.
Dr. King, everybody knows. So I would say three of my heroes, right? Dr. Martin Luther King is one of them. Malcolm X is another, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt is another. And maybe I might throw A.B. Lincoln in there too, but those are my big three right now. Obviously, Jesus surpasses all that, but I'm talking about humans, right?
Yeah.
Dr. King was definitely one of them. And I visited the church, the house that he was born in, the house that he grew up in. It was beautiful. His burial,
The memorial.
the memorial and stuff. So that was beautiful.
To answer your question about the month, what I think is weird about having a month is going back to what you said earlier. There's no Hispanic History Month. There's no Asian History Month. There's no other
Why a Black History Month?
So what it does, it programs African Americans to go back to the past, which is 60 years ago. It doesn't talk about the real past. It doesn't talk about Mansa Musa. It doesn't talk about the kingdoms that were built in Africa. It doesn't talk about these things where the real African history, if people really knew where they came from. It talks about suppression. Because what it does, it reminds you of the pain you went through. So
and this is why you get this.
That's why the incarcerations in America, if you guys see the movie on Netflix, The 13th, which shook my entire consciousness, where you realize the prison system is majority young African American because of the war on drugs, right? Where Nixon said they called them, what they call black people, enemy number one or something like that. We need to focus on
Public enemy number one.
Yeah. Wow. And they focus on young African Americans. My brother, being 42, would tell me stories in Miami when I was younger. There was a riot in front of our house. And I was 6 years old when I watched this. The kids from the high school were just tired of, it was just, the education was so terrible. And they came to the middle of the street where in our street, there would be shoes on the little wires wrapped around everywhere. Well, they were in the middle of the street and blocking all the cars. The police came out and beat the shit out of every young kid. Just with these batons, just beating them and throwing them in the cars. And my brother would tell me that the cops at the time, because there's no cameras and surveillance, right? So they used to be able to just see some kids on the side of the block, pull over, and antagonize them. Why? Because they're superior. But going back to the history, when you can remember, as a young black man, what shook me recently, I didn't really know Malcolm X because in school they just said Malcolm X was this person who was violent and all this stuff. And then I started watching his podcast, and I said, he's very articulate. His mom made him read the dictionary, and he used his power of speaking to speak to the people. And I started.
Wait, are you talking about Malcolm X?
Malcolm X.
Okay.
I went to Civil Rights Museum and just started diving deeper into his story and realized I knew nothing. Mm-hmm. Most black people don't know anything about history because this isn't history. This is just right down the street. Yeah. Guys, I'm in Atlanta, so Jim Crow was not too long ago. Yeah. Right. I played college football, and the guys that play with me are from South Georgia. There was one time I played in high school, and we played a team called Colquitt. When we played this team, on the home side was the white side for this team, and on the away side was the black side of the team. Wow. When we were going to the locker room, the police, for the black people for their side, the police were just talking to them like dogs, and the people were kind of spitting at the police, and the whole town was there. And this is South Georgia. Still exists today.
What year?
This is 2012. Tension.
12 years ago.
And if you guys look up, there's still plantations in South Georgia. My driver, I had a driver, Reggie, and Reggie would tell me about his billionaire clients. He'd tell me all the stories, and they were wild, right? Drivers see all the crazy stuff. He said, Phil, I took one of my clients to South Georgia to go visit a plantation. He said, I thought that this was in the movies. He said, I pulled in, we went 40 minutes off-road. We pulled up to the plantation. There are men on horses. There are still people saying, yes, sir. May I help you, sir? Still talking like that. And it's Hispanic and black people that are still working on the plantation.
But they're not technically, like, they're not legally slaves.
We don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I'm sure there's no paperwork that has these masters owning them.
Well, it's called incarceration. Well, in the prison it's called incarceration. It's called slavery, right? But you work for 10 cents or 16 cents an hour. So we can call it what we change these names.
That's terrible.
But they just changed the format. So for me, when I think of Black history, I'm like that's not history. That's just reminding me of suppression, reminding me that we should be thankful because this is where we were and this is where we are, and it just continues. They just recycle it in different formats. So that's what Black history is to me. I don't really get too involved into it. I don't celebrate something that isn't what they don't talk about the real history, right?
They talk about Black history in the United States.
Well, in the United States, we don't talk about the good of the Black history. We don't talk about Black Wall Street.
The negative, yeah.
So let me ask you this, by the way, and obviously this is irrelevant, but I think it's a good question. Like, why February? Why?
It's the shortest month of the year.
No, wait. You really do believe that?
Yeah, actually,
you think
100%.
You think
100%.
You think they're going to give black people February as Black History Month because it has the least amount of days in the year?
Well, you wouldn't give them the longest amount of days.
Personally, I agree with what he's saying because how can you manifest great things if you remind somebody of negative things?
Because that would be insult. If the intention, right? If the intention behind that was, hey, well, give them something.
When was it actually made a?
Yeah, we'll look it up. But give them something. Give them something, right? And just give them the month that has the least amount of days is Black History Month. I mean,
is
that
that
could be-
far-fetched?
That's disgusting.
That makes sense if that was the case. But what happens in school when you're a kid, when they do Black History Month, obviously you learn about different people, the same people. MLK, but you don't even really know who MLK was. Yes, he was a great leader, but yes, he has a dark side too. MLK was somebody who started public speaking when he was 12 or 13, so he was bred to be a strong speaker, but he also had fun. We all know that he had fun in Alabama. He had fun when he traveled. He was heightened. Remember, the conscience brought him up. This was the savior of the people. Well, guess what? You're going to have women that come your way. You're going to have things that
Temptations.
happen. Yeah, temptations. And so he wasn't the most perfect individual, but he also had ties with from what I hear, I don't know for sure.
I don't believe that MLK cheated on his wife, if that's what you're insinuating.
I would say I don't know.
I don't believe it, and I'll tell you why I don't believe it. What I've noticed is that when people like MLK rise up, I mean, it's the same. The playbook is being the play is still being ran today. When someone rises up against the majority, what are the first thing they try to do?
Take him down.
Tarnish their
They
name.
try to tarnish your name. What is the second thing they try to do?
Throw them in jail.
Throw you in jail. What's the third thing they do if they still cannot
Kill you.
defeat you after those two things?
Yeah,
Kill
they cut
you.
you up. But
Hello, are we still seeing that play today? I think so.
Well, let's go to the facts. The CIA was studying Malcolm X and studying MLK. And when they studied Malcolm X,
1976, by the way, is when Black History Month.
They were
So
just
that's-
considered domestic terrorists, right?
what they
According to them.
said about Malcolm X was that he was more of a wholesome man than MLK because they were obviously in both of their business. So watching these men move around, and this is, like I said, these are articles that you can probably look up.
Hold on. Once
yeah.
again, who reported Martin Luther King was cheating on his wife? Where do those reports come from? From who? 3-letter word.
CIA.
Exactly. Who reportedly or allegedly killed him?
CIA.
So why would you believe the same people that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, it's not so much that I believe it. It's just that we should talk about it, right? Because
We should, but I don't believe he cheated on his wife.
But let's just be aware that people that do get those eyeballs and get that attention, there are more people that are going to gravitate towards you.
Not when you're
overall,
walking the narrow,
right?
not when you're walking the righteous narrow path. Are you going to sit here and tell me, right, that I can walk the narrow path? He can walk the narrow path. He can walk the narrow path. He can walk the narrow path. Obviously, you got your situation now going, right? New dad, right? You're going to have to walk that narrow path. You're going to sit here and tell me that we can walk the narrow path, but somebody as amazing, world changer, this is a world changer, is not going to have the discipline and the self-control and the personal power to walk the narrow path that he's going to. Bro, he knows.
Yeah.
Sin is
He
sin.
knows he's being scrutinized already. Why would he step outside? Why would he do this, and this, and this, and this?
Because you don't know who-
They'll tear him down like that.
But you don't know who he was before all of this attention was there.
Yeah.
Right?
No, but
You don't know if
but
he
the
walked in
reports say that
sin.
this is things he was doing.
I would
on,
say that
on the journey.
I would say that if you, it would always be like, how could a pastor cheat on his wife? How could a father?
Well, that happens now often. Obviously.
How could a loving father touch a nephew or a niece? How could a teacher that's a grown adult play with somebody's kid? How could a coach or Sandusky, the Sandusky trial, and they had these football camps, how could this man over the span of 14
Isn't
years
that where you wanted to go to college?
rape Penn? No. I don't want that Penn in me. So how could somebody that was a coach for 14 years rape this many kids and then he gets tried right after, right? So to me, it's speculation, and I don't know. All I can say is that from what I've witnessed in my life, and obviously I got involved in politics.
I'm going to go around the room.
Hold on, let him finish his thought.
Oh, yeah, good to you.
So I got involved in politics in 2022 because I wanted to be politically involved into what's happening. I was excited. Then I got inside of this room and I said, oh, this is different. This is okay. I saw TV version, then I see the inside version, and God bless, I got to meet Tucker Carlson. I got to meet Byron Donalds. I got to meet a lot of very high profile individuals, and I got to smoke cigars with these individuals, and they are great people. But the conversations are different. So what I'll say is, just off perception, I don't know, but I do know that some people's character are different than what they persuade themselves to be. And his story does change over time based off of who has the pen and paper.
Boom. Well, with that being said, the last thing I'm going to do is go around the room, and then we're gonna close the show real quick. Do you believe Martin Luther King cheated on his wife?
I don't have enough insight to come up with either a yes or a no.
What about you?
I don't know too much about it, but I do know this much. If it did happen, which I don't know, then he had to be manipulated so hard where he wasn't even him. Like the devil got to him through some other human being. You know, you never know. Temptation comes in different ways, and maybe he was tempted, and maybe he didn't go full way, but the temptation was enough for them to make the accusation.
What about you?
Do I think
Do you think Martin Luther King cheated on his wife?
I personally don't think so, but I've done zero research on the matter, so I can't say for sure.
Why do you personally not think so?
Because I just feel like if you're, like you were talking about alignment, if you're going to cheat on your first partner, the person that you're
a
supposed
complete
to have this
fraud.
Contractual agree with, right? Then you're a fraud,
Yeah.
and that be everybody with
He
power.
didn't sound like a fraud.
Personally.
Like you cannot change the world to that degree and be a complete fraud.
But what did he do? Like, what they could say he cheated, it could be even like a conversation that went further. Like, to what extent, right? But it's the angle of the camera. You said the person with a pen and paper can change the world, but in the modern age is the person with the camera, with the news outlets.
Yep.
Even if I'm saying something right now, somebody can chop it up and make me say something different.
Yep, true.
Okay,
Right?
another example, if you want me to use another example, is Tiger Woods is a great golfing individual. So if you would have said, has he mastered the sport? I would say he has mastered the sport. He's also mastered the sport of temptation. He mastered it. He demolished. He showed the world that yes, he made it on Gatorades and he had all these promotions, made it on Nike. But then in the background, there are 5,000 women that said, "Hey, like we did touch him."
Oh, but I don't think anybody. Hold on.
Probably a couple hundred.
Yeah, hold on. Nobody questions that. By the way, we know Tiger was doing it. Like everybody, no one's like, oh man, that like Martin Luther King.
But remember,
Tiger and Martin Luther King,
it's
bro.
It's the same.
But we have more technology today.
But it's the same thing. It's the same thing with
Tiger
the entire
loves
Catholic,
them white women,
Roman
boy.
Catholic Church, right? That how could somebody that is that divine have these allegations against him? There was Moonlight, right? That talked about how these pastors and these priests and these fathers and these deacons were molesting children, right? How could you?
None of them changed the world, bro.
Okay, you just said Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. How could somebody that was such a great actor, people looked up to him, and then sell himself to the party, right?
Well,
somebody
now we're talking about
who's
money.
strong, and you would think
Now
they'd
we're
have
talking
mental
about money.
fortitude.
Yeah, but everybody has a vice.
Now we're talking about money, right?
Well, what did Martin get paid?
No, who?
Martin.
To cheat on his wife?
No, I'm saying what
be
do
him,
we not
to
know?
do him.
What do we
No,
not
I
know?
get it.
And trust me,
He enjoyed probably the good life through his journey, but he did change the world.
I believe in Martin. I think that when you go back
Why
and
would
study
you want
Martin,
to demonize? Why would anybody want to demonize a person like that?
He's
that
a great
fought
man.
so hard.
He's a great
fought
man.
so hard, bro.
He's a great man, but people have vices, right? So we want to acknowledge the good and the bad, the yin and the yang, the black and the white.
But you have no
duality.
proof of the bad.
I have no proof of anything.
You know what the
that
proof of
anybody
the
does.
you know what the proof of the good of Martin Luther King is?
Why I'm here.
The fact that you're sitting right here. like that's the proof, bro.
You know what the
Right?
biggest facts
I mean,
that we
we're
need
all
to
here.
what the biggest facts
That's
we need
the
to
proof.
address. The problem with us, because we live a good life of 75, 80 years old, right? And we're about to wrap up, but we're talking about something that didn't happen too long ago, where like slavery was a thing not too long ago. World War II was a thing not too long ago.
Yeah, like a life ago.
Yeah,
life
it's
ago.
not too long ago. And then
Life ago.
But then what do we not know a few hundred years before that, a few hundred years?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
but we can read about it, but it
But we
doesn't
don't
hit
know.
it doesn't hit home like it hits home today, right? Like what happens today, we're going through adversity right now. Maybe it's less, but to us it feels it's a lot because that's the era we live in.
And
But
there's social media.
yeah, social media, whatever. Like perspective is perspective is a hell of a thing, and this is the perspective that we're seeing things. We're seeing that there was slavery and then it was abolished, and we're talking about there is a Black History Month, but there is a negative connotation to it because it's making you think about the bad times to move forward, which I respect what you said. However, why don't we talk about further, like go back further and further and further and further. It all happened. If we have to simplify things, it happened. We all were created, like we started in Africa. The human race started in Africa. So we're technically all Africans.
Exactly.
Right? But then because of the skin complexity and
Your
there was
exposure to the sun versus other people that weren't.
But at that time point,
right?
At that time
over centuries.
At that time frame, there was more people that were able to band up against another group, and the white band up against the non-white and created this thing. And when I was born, I was watching the movies, I was seeing like, hey, this was a thing, and we're like, oh, thank God it's no longer there. But we don't get to think how it started. We talk about, oh, thank God it ended. Like the world can do weird things, and it starts at a weird time, but we don't see how it started. We only see when it was ended or like based on our lifespan. So the fact that we're even talking about something like this is mind-blowing, that the humans, like the human race was able to do such a thing. And now my wife asked me the other day, she's like, oh my, we're watching Key and Peele. And it's creating a sketch about, you know, like somebody walking in the neighborhood and like this African American guy,
black dude with the backpack on.
Yeah. And then like everybody's looking, and then he puts the hoodie, and my wife is like, that's so sad. Like, why is that? Like, it's a thing. Like, why is he like, they're making even something about it in the movie because it's true, right? Or like it's a sketch. And I'm like, to be honest, it's unfair that the back years and years and years ago that a group of people oppressed another group of people, and then that group of people had to act a certain way, and then they demonized them for acting that certain way that they were conditioned in, and now it's in TV, you're looking at it and you're like, why is it you can't even understand it? Because it happened so long ago, before you were born, before your mom was born.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, I think it's been a pretty good show, right? For everybody that enjoyed this episode today, please share it as much as possible. That is your price. We don't charge anything for this podcast, right? It's self-funded. Please share it with people if you enjoyed the content of today's show. And until next time, God bless.